When you say the decline in the number of British managers, I think you have to look at, first of all, the Premier League, which is in the top 10 of exports in Britain. It's a global product, and the English, particularly the Premier League, is the very top of the global employment market for football managers and coaches. And when you then have a number of overseas owners who maybe don't have so much affinity with British coaches, you're going to have the financial impact of the television broadcast revenues providing the opportunity for owners to hire world-class coaches from all around the world.
Yeah. Is there any?
I think the focus of the answer to the question is really that it is a global market, 250 million households taking the Premier League on a weekly basis. And equally, I think we have to remember that over the last 2 years, 50% of all the appointments in the Premier League are actually British, and 16 of the managers in the Championship are British. So from our perspective, the focus on the LMA Institute of Leadership and High Performance is really about the career pathway, about the individuals, about how we can help them to make sure that particularly the 58 managers under the age of 50, really over the next 5-10 years, again all of the support that we can possibly give them. So when the big jobs become available, they get an opportunity and hopefully take it. I think it's just another point in the issue when you look at the leagues and how jobs are taken by managers. But 8 of the Premier League managers are British. 5 of the the 7 longest serving managers are British. So the Eddie Howe and the Sean Dyches and the Chris Hutons and the Tony Pulises and the Roy Hodgsons, massive experience there. And just because we see less British managers and more overseas, don't think that the standard has dropped. The talent we have out there in terms of managers and coaches is absolutely immense in a very serious competitive business. Yeah. From our perspective, it's making sure that the up-and-coming British managers also have the full toolkit, have all of the mentors and the technical skills and the image as well to be considered for the very big jobs. And certainly some of our research back from some of the overseas owners, we need to communicate the CVs, and we need to communicate which we do through a number of ways. We have a magazine called The Manager, which now has a readership of 80,000 around the world. I think the positives is that English football is right up there all around the world. Watched is a very, very competitive product. It's very, very competitive leagues. And I think the knowledge, the wealth of experience that the overseas managers bring, we can only learn from. And it's only when you have a strong appetite and when you're willing to learn that we can continue to improve. And certainly in the LMA, the overseas managers and the British managers mix very well. They attend a lot of the masterclasses and the seminars, the networking events, and I've never seen a group of people wanting to learn continually. Their appetite is immense. And I think it's those thousands of matches of experience that many of our younger managers and coaches will learn from, and then hopefully take the senior jobs at a later date. I think from the LMA's perspective, there are 2 angles, 2 answers to that question. First of all, the team behind me is very much looking after the 450 members that we have. And the hardest thing for us to support our members is finding jobs. There are only 92 clubs, you hear that quite regularly. So looking abroad and finding opportunities for abroad, both short-term contracts and permanent, are really important. So I'm delighted that we see the likes of Warren Joyce out in Australia, Anthony Hudson in New Zealand. In India, you mentioned we have Steve Coppell, Teddy Sheringham, John Gregory working in the Premier League. And what we've done is, with some business partners, we've gained support, and also with the Premier League, we're going to be offering work experience for young coaches to go and work with those managers for 1, 2 and 3 week periods. And then equally, with the likes of Europe, we're going to build a database of clubs that are really keen to offer work experience so that we can build relationships with coaches and managers. So hopefully they become permanent opportunities. Nigel Pearson working in Belgium is a really good example of that.
Yeah.
So overseas is absolutely a big part of our future. We have 86 managers and coaches working in probably 30 plus countries, and I would like to see that triple.